So I was an ex-software developer from Wales, obviously, Swansea, South Wales. I quit that and I lived in my tent on and off for a while. Now I do biology as an undergrad, almost my last year.
I'm Alex, this is my van. I'm from South Wales, so I'm currently a weapons engineer in the Royal Navy, and I'm 25 years old. So this is my van. It's a 2007 plate, Sprinter, 2.2 diesel engine, and it's a mid-wheelbase. So coming in here, you got the front cab area. It's double seat. I put on a swivel. As you can see, it just gives that extra space around here. I still haven't put a shelf up here, but my intention, put a shelf up here, put bedding up here. And coming on, you've got the overhead cabinets. So here is where we keep one of the speakers, all our toothpaste and laundry items, and then all our spices and food stuff. Most of the food stuff's up here. All it is just a frame, and then I put doors on it. I haven't even finished the ends yet. You've got a scratch map where the van's been so far, mirror down here, and then the handlebar. Funny story, I put another one on the kitchen one, put it on because you've got to drill from the other side, and then put that one on, perfect, and then I realised the bigger one, I used the smaller one, so that's that. Coming down, you've got a window. It's an opening one. I wanted to go for clear, but there wasn't any left in stock, so that's what I did. Installed that myself. Coming down, you've got the bench. So the bench, there's two ways of access. You've just got that. You've got a drawer there, and then big open space. This is where we keep all our dry foods and our access stoves. All it is on top of this is a bit of foam. This living area was pretty much built around the sound system. Shout out to Angus and the 527 sound system up in Scotland, yes, IB side. This pulls out on a drawer, so it can give people dancing outside that good bassy vibes. Navy, so quite often I get moved around in different drafts. So the idea behind the van was seeing my friend's van and seeing how good it was, and I thought it would equate to me moving around, me getting all my stuff in here, and also just being able to take trips like we're doing now, getting out there and see the world. So that was kind of the basis of the idea. Just handy for me moving around so much, really. Coming around, you've got the bed. It was important to me to have a permanent bed because I'm pretty lazy, so I didn't want to be folding out anything. It's a good size, like I'm 6'2", and I can still just sit on top. There's plenty of space, plenty of open space, and it's just not too much effort. The foam itself is about 18 inches thick, so it's really quite a comfortable night's sleep. So down on the headboard, you've got all our electrical ideas. So this triggers the lights, and this is a touchscreen dimmer. So you can have it full, and then you can just slide it back round and dim the lights when it gets a bit saucy. Switch panel with USBs and a cigarette lighter for all your charging needs, and then you've got the solar charge controller see what's going on in there. Onto the kitchen. The kitchen is just was an IKEA unit, started out, but when I bought it, it was really quite large. I don't know what I measured, but I measured something wrong. So me and my friend Sam Stringer, shout out Ham Dinner, cut it down, and then we stuck the stove on top, and then just built some drawers, cutlery, cleaning gear, that kind of thing. Very small, but does what you need. Most recent addition to the van is the magnetic knife block. Super handy and super sturdy. Bought it off Amazon, pretty cheap. So I had a lot of time to sort of research vans and look into what people are doing in vans, and the Sprinter appealed to me because I could stand up in it. It seemed like it was kind of the majority what people were going for, kind of price wise, of what I could then build up a budget and buy for, and kind of just have like a half decent van. I thought that was kind of my decision. I spent £4,000 on the base vehicle, and then I'd say maybe about £6,000, probably upwards, on running costs. Where we store the table usually. All you do is just pop it off on this arm, bring it round, and it's got multiple positions, so if you just tighten it off, and then this as well, it stops it from spinning around. You just got extra countertop space, pretty much walk-in bar then, you know, and that's pretty much it. That's the van. So my budget was around about like 4 to 5k, that's British pounds, and what I found is the cheaper ones covered in rust, so wouldn't last long, and then just that little bit more expensive with fairly like newer models, but again, that would have put me out my budget. So to find like a good one in that range was quite a struggle, I found. But Auto Trader is what I used, and I thought that was really good. This head unit is linked up to the back sound system. So what I have is two systems. So when I turn the ignition, this sound system along with the sub turns on, and you can also just use that switch panel, as I showed you earlier, to just use this sound system on its own. It's basically just like a phone, so you can go on YouTube, you can go on Spotify, and just have and maps as well, which is really useful for when you're looking at like around these places, finding somewhere to camp up or something, having a nice screen where you can touch it and you can all, when you're sitting here, and all look at it. It's pretty nice. It's a nice feature. So you've got a microphone as well, which I found in this van you lose a lot of the space, especially when you take the cab wall off. With the van, I had none. So my only sort of hands-on engineering training I did was with my job. Apart from that, I've never done any DIY whatsoever. It's the first time I've owned a drill. It was quite daunting, but at the same time, it didn't feel too hard because there were so many resources online. Like you could, like most of the things I was typing in, you know, how to insulate a van, etc., etc. Someone had already covered it, usually in one of these vans as well. At the back of the van, we literally just have underneath the floating bed. All of this is storage, up to just behind the fridge to the right, and then all the electrical components on the left. So all this is built out of is a wooden frame around the wheel arch. That's where the larger battery sits. It's a 200 amp hour gel battery, and then going from that you've got an inverter, which is 1000 watts, which runs the fridge and then just charges all my drone and camera, just general house equipment. On the side of that you've got the MPPT charger, that's running from the 260 watt solar panel into the gel battery. You've got a carbon monoxide alarm, a fuse box, and then the diesel heater main temperature controller. The fridge is just a normal, I think it's a 67 litre mini fridge. So all I do is I plug that into the inverter. However, there's a little bit of inefficiency in inverters. So what I've done is I've wired up a digital temperature probe through a relay switch. So I've set the temperatures of 3 degrees to 7 degrees on the probe. So once the fridge hits 3 degrees, it'll turn that off and the inverter off. And then when it hits 7 again, it'll turn the inverter on. So it just stops that wastage of the inverter. And that's the reason why we can run purely just off solar and run that full sound system aside. Van life for me has just been, it's just been such a great project. You get with the online resources and people talking to you and people giving you ideas and being able to see people's ideas and to see what useful things. I've learned so much. I've learned about electrics and I've learned about just sort of general carpentry. Traveling by myself is alright. It's, I don't know, I'd say I'd much prefer with friends, hands down. I've kind of, you'll see the way I've built the van, it's more communal. You know, driving around these past few days, we've driven to some beautiful places, and just being able to chill out, see the views, listen to some music, cook some good food, so comfortably. It's no effort, and it's just what I live for, you know. Time off, chill out, see the world.